Here's your daily Premier League roundup and transfer update with me, Harry Scarfe, football content creator, YouTuber and football writer. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you, Chris, for this opportunity. If you're new, like, subscribe. Let's get straight into it. So, if you're unfamiliar with how this works, first part of the video is your Premier League headlines in the last 24 hours, and second part of the video, I pick out the key ones and dissect them. Let's get straight into it. David Alstein firstly reports that Crystal Palace approached Leicester City to explore a move for Bayo El Khanous. No bid yet and not guaranteed the 21-year-old exits, but the Crystal Palace club are in contact with Leicester, and the Moroccan international is among options if/when Eberechi Eze is sold. No deal so far, but Tottenham are pushing. Next, Meta have told Sky Sports that they're investigating the racist abuse sent to Bournemouth forward Antoine Semenyo on Instagram last night. It's understood the social media company are removing comments and disabling the offending accounts. I don't want to speak about too much about that. That's Thomas Frank, his words of him, who refused to discuss Tottenham Hotspur's possible move for Crystal Palace's Eberechi Eze. Fabrizio Romano reports that Edson Alvarez agent Nathan Van Krupen on the Ajax return. He said there's interest, not easy, but nothing is impossible. That's what he told ESPN. Fabrizio Romano says there are also more clubs in the race with movements expected around the weekend. Arne Slot around Federico Chiesa's future. Slot said when we needed him, he delivered, and that is always positive for your future at a club. Fabrizio Romano says that Leon Bailey was not in the Aston Villa squad today because he's set to leave the club. AS Roma are progressing in talks to sign Bailey on loan with a buy option. Clear favourite choice of the player himself. Mikel Arteta said, my first phone call with Gyökeres, I wanted to just look at the reaction. He said, Arsenal, that's my dream, is what he told Men in Blazers. I feel his security, dominance, arrogance to say it on the pitch. Don't worry, I will do it. Fabrizio Romano reports that Nottingham Forest agree a deal to sign Arnold Camaluno from Rennes. Here we go. Medical is now sealed, and deal, should I say, is now sealed between the two clubs. I meant to say medical next. Fabrizio Romano said it's a €31.5 million transfer fee. New striker for Nuno coming very soon. Fabrizio Romano reports that Galatasaray send the first official bid to Manchester City for goalkeeper Ederson. Proposals in the region of €10 million, while City asked for a much higher fee. Donnarumma has already opened doors to a City move, no issues on personal terms. If Ederson leaves, Donnarumma can join Manchester City. Savinha posted a picture of him on Instagram in the gym after Pep Guardiola said he's injured and not available for the Wolves game. Fabrizio Romano says that Tottenham remain in talks for Savinha as a top target in a separate deal from Eberechi Eze. Fabrizio Romano says that Leon Bailey's agents have since landed in Italy to close the deal with AS Roma. The player's decision is clear. Personal terms being agreed while Roma are closing in on a loan move from Aston Villa with a buy option clause. Fabrizio Romano says that Eberechi Eze has informed Crystal Palace earlier this week about his desire to join Tottenham. Talks progressing as Eze has already said yes to the Spurs project, ready to make his move this month. Nothing done yet, but Eze hopes for a Tottenham move as soon as possible. Eddie Howe said, I hope the exact story is resolved quickly because it's news around us all the time. Players have managed to shut that out and perform. We have to continue to do that. We have to cope without the narrative against us. Fabrizio Romano reports that AS Roma are still waiting for Jadon Sancho's final decision and answer after their contract proposal. Manchester United are ready to accept a £20 million fee on loan, plus an obligation. They want to get it done as soon as possible. The final green light is now up to Jadon himself. Next, Fabrizio Romano said that Bonotti, who's not involved in Brighton's squad, is expected. That is because he's set to leave before the end of the window. Borussia Dortmund is seen as a priority, but there are several clubs behind wanted to sign him for the final 2 weeks. It's official, Ederson was not in the Manchester City squad for the game against Wolves. Fabrizio Romano says Galatasaray sent an official bid to Man City and negotiations are ongoing. Fabrizio Romano goes on to say Ederson doesn't play today for Man City because of advanced talks to Galatasaray. Ederson wants the move and Galatasaray sent a €10 million official bid to Manchester City who are asking for a higher fee, but negotiations are progressing. It's official, unconfirmed, that Mari Hutchinson joins Nottingham Forest from Ipswich Town. Fabrizio Romano says it's a deal in the excess of £37 million, and up next is Camaluno. Fabrizio Romano says the agreement between Eberechi Eze and Spurs on personal terms is done and has been since the beginning of this week. He wants the move as Tottenham and Crystal Palace are in direct talks over a fee. Tottenham are confident to make it happen, but work is still needed. Fabrizio Romano reports that Nottingham Forest are close to getting Douglas Luiz's deal done after personal terms agreed Deal imminent also with Juventus, and Nottingham Forest are seen as confident. He's the next one after Kamaludu and Hutchinson as negotiations at the final stages now with Juventus. Fabrizio Romano reports that Brighton have closed the doors to Carlos Balíva's exit this summer, and Man United will keep his name on the list for 2026. Manchester United love Balíva and seen as an ideal player for Amorim and will likely remain a target for next season. Pep Guardiola confirms he still has hopes for many more exists as the Man City squad is too big. Exits, I meant to say. He said it's not healthy to have too many players. You can't create a good vibe. That's what he had to say. It's official and confirmed that Dan Garatara joins Brentford from Bournemouth on a contract until June 2030. Fabrizio Romano says it's a £42 million package from Bournemouth, and the contract is till 2030 with an option to extend for another year. Federico Chiesa said, my goal is also dedicated to Arne Slot. He's always been great with me ever since day one. Even if I only get 10 or 15 minutes, I must show I'm ready to be able to do my best in order to play with this team. It's official and confirmed Nottingham Forest signed James McAtee from Manchester City. Fabrizio Romano says that James McAtee total package is £30 million, and Man City have a buyback and a sell-on clause. Up next is Kamaludu, which is done, and Douglas Luiz, which is very close. Luis Diaz scored his first official goal as a Bayern Munich player, winning the Super Cup, and dedicated his goal to Diego Jota. Next, David Alstein reports that Arnaud Kamaludu is in London taking his medical before completing a transfer from Rennes to Nottingham Forest. Forest are also closing in on the permanent deal for Juventus midfielder Douglas Luiz and continued the pursuit of Manchester City's defender Rico Lewis. Next, a man has been arrested following an alleged racist abuse towards Bournemouth forward Anton Semenyo during the Premier League opener at Anfield. What else have we got? Report from The Guardian states that Tottenham are closing in on completing the signing of Eberechi Eze. The Daily Mail report that AS Roma have approached Tottenham through intermediaries about signing Yves Bissouma. Spurs want close to £20 million for midfielder. He has just 1 year left remaining on his contract, and a Brighton fan has died after becoming unwell during the second half of the club's opening Premier League game the season against Brighton. That's incredibly sad, so rest in peace firstly on that one, but that is your Premier League headlines in the last 24 hours. Let's go through and pick out the key ones. Good that hopefully Meta are finally taking action. We can't have, in this day and age, the racist abuse that continues to go on. It's incredibly sad. Palace preparing El Canouse kind of bid, relegation release clause he's got. I mean, that tells me that Eze could potentially leave. El Canouse probably deserves a move to the Premier League, so I have to see what happens with that. Frank giving nothing away. Alvarez possibility turns to that's Ajax. Bailey never really worked out for him. Aston Villa had moments, but not consistently. Forest looked very scary, getting a lot of business done. I mean, €10 million is not a lot, by the way, for Ederson. I thought it would be a lot more than that. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know. I wonder what City have told Trafford if they signed on the rumour. It would be a huge blow to him to be the number 2. I think send their best goalkeeper in Ederson. I don't know, for €10 million, I don't think it seems right for City, but hey ho. What else have we got in it? Eze looks like he's progressing nicely to Tottenham. Nothing like concrete, but personal terms look good and clubs are getting closer. How is very slowly but surely. He's handled the situation really well. We're starting to say, look, I want it to resolve really quickly. You can't blame him. I think it's massively disrupted the squad, and that relationship between fans and player. I want to talk about Isak here. Is absolutely broken, and it's all on Isak for me. And people try and compare it to the Trent Alexander-Arnold situation. It's completely different. Alexander-Arnold was very loyal, won lots of trophies, and kindly asked for a move. He didn't force a move or anything. He didn't turn up to trade late. Isak just refused him. He's not interested in, even if he stayed at Newcastle's window, he's not interested at all in playing for them again. So Newcastle need to sell him really if he's going to refuse to play. Even if he comes back, it's going to be such an awkward, really awkward, I think, as well, situation, which is not ideal. Murray Hutchinson is a big son, I think, for Nottingham Forest. Really good player. £37 million. I think Ipswich have got a very good deal out of that, if I'm honest with you, as well. So I think it's a good deal for both teams getting the player, but also in terms of the fee, I think Ipswich have done very well on that. Douglas Luiz returns to the Premier League for Forest. Also, the Forest could be back into contention, but it's worrying if you're a Forest fan to hear your manager Nuno saying that they're not ready for the Premier League season. If they lose a few games before these signings come in, they could quickly fall behind. Pep saying, yeah, he doesn't want too many players. Kills the good vibes that suggest that City are willing to let so many players go. Dan Gattara to Brentford. Another player that Bournemouth are letting leave. I do like Atara. Diaz making his goal about Diego Jota, which is lovely, and we've seen lovely tributes this weekend from both Wolves and Liverpool, which is lovely. So that's, mainly your Premier League headlines. Not too much to unpick and dissect there, but those are my thoughts. Anyways, please don't get involved in the comments below with anything you heard in today's video. But thank you, Chris, for this opportunity to like and subscribe to the channel. Please follow me at Scarfe across all socials, football content creator, YouTuber and football writer. Also my YouTube channel, Scarfe. You can check that out, it'd mean a lot. Thank you very much for watching this video.